This time, we're going behind the scenes of I'm Still Here.
Oh, yeah, I've heard good things about that one.
It's a Brazilian film, generating all that Oscar buzz. And I've been digging through a ton of articles and interviews, even got some insights from Fernanda Torres.
She's the actress, right?
Yeah, she won a Golden Globe for her role in it. I think we're going to uncover some pretty fascinating stuff today.
Well, let's get to it.
So are you familiar with the story behind the film at all?
A little bit. I know it's based on real events.
You got it. That's what makes it so powerful. It's not just some made-up story. It's rooted in a real event that captivated Brazil for decades. So imagine this. 1970s Brazil, military dictatorship, Eunice Paiva, a mother of 5. Her husband, Rubens, is an activist and poof, just vanishes.
Oh, wow. Just like that.
Gone. And the film follows Eunice's 25-year-long journey as he tries to uncover the truth.
25 years. That's unbelievable to live with that kind of uncertainty, just not knowing.
Exactly. It's a story about resilience, family, hope, the stuff that gets you through the toughest times. But, we can't talk about the film without talking about Fernanda Torres, the actress who plays Eunice.
Right, the Golden Globe winner.
Her performance is just mesmerizing. Absolutely mesmerizing.
Yeah, I've heard great things. What was it like? How does she prepare for a role like that?
Well, she really went all out. I read that she worked with acting coaches, did tons of research on the time period, and she even insisted on filming chronologically, to mirror Eunice's experience over those 25 years.
Wow, talk about commitment.
It's like she stepped into Eunice's shoes and lived her life. And get this, Torres has a personal connection to this whole story. She lived through the dictatorship era. Her father actually faced censorship for his work in theater.
That's heavy stuff. I bet that really brought another dimension to her performance.
I was thinking the same thing. It had to have influenced her portrayal of Eunice somehow. Torres described Eunice as a really complex character, full of contradictions.
In what way?
Like on one hand, she's this pillar of strength, resilient, keeps it all together. But then on the other hand, she's got all these secrets. She's carrying around this pain. You just feel it.
Ah, I see what you mean, yeah.
There's this interview where Torres talks about how Eunice always had this smile on her face, even when recounting these horrific events.
Almost like a mask, huh?
Exactly. But underneath, you could sense all those bottled up emotions. Grief, anger, and just this determination, this fierceness to protect her family.
It's that strength that really resonates with me, like even in the face of such unimaginable loss.
Yeah, it makes you think, what would you do in that situation? One of the things that really struck me was her decision to keep Ruben's disappearance from her kids.
Oh, wow. I hadn't thought about that angle.
Such a tough call, right? Part of you can understand why she'd want to shield them from that horrible truth. I mean, how do you even begin to explain something like that to a child?
It's heartbreaking, but at the same time, you have to wonder about the long-term effects of that silence.
Exactly. It's a question that keeps coming up. Even if she thought she was protecting them, did it maybe cause more harm in the long run? It's such a morally complex situation. And I think that's one of the things that makes this film so gripping. It doesn't offer any easy answers. It just lays bare these difficult questions and leaves you grappling with them, just like Eunice does.
It sounds like the kind of film that really stays with you.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of people who wrestle with tough questions, we got to talk about the director, Walter Salles.
Fill me in. What's his deal?
Oh, he's a master at weaving these intricate narratives, like Central Station and The Motorcycle Diaries.
I loved Motorcycle Diaries. Great film.
But with I'm Still Here, it wasn't just another film for him. He lived through the dictatorship himself. So this wasn't just history, it was personal.
Wow, that must be intense. You can probably feel that in the film.
Definitely. He wanted to capture the political turmoil, but also the human impact, how it ripped through families like Eunice's. It's a story that speaks to everyone, not just Brazilians.
Absolutely. These themes of loss and resilience are universal.
Right. And Torres even said that the film touched people from all sides of the political spectrum in Brazil. It somehow transcended those divisions and spoke to something deeper.
The power of film, right? It can really cut through all that noise and bring people together. So we've got this film. It's based on a true story, tackles this really dark chapter in Brazil's history, and it resonates with people on a human level.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even in the darkest times, the human spirit finds a way to persevere. That's the beauty of it. This story, it's a testament to hope, to the importance of sharing these experiences.
And the importance of remembering. Picking up on that idea of resilience, I think it's worth diving a little deeper into the heart of I'm Still Here, Eunice Paiva.
Oh, for sure. She is not your typical, movie heroine. Not even close.
Totally. There's this fascinating, duality to her. I mean, on the surface, she's all elegance and composure.
Right. Torres even mentioned how Eunice always, kept this unwavering smile, even when talking about the most horrific stuff.
Like it was a shield almost, protecting herself from the weight of it all, but you can discern it, right? Underneath all that, there's this like wellspring of emotions, grief, anger, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, totally. And that determination, that fierceness to keep her family going, and that determination, it showed itself in some pretty unconventional ways, to say the least.
Huh. Like what?
Well, like her choice to keep Ruben's disappearance from her kids. What do you make of that?
That's a tough one. On one hand, you can totally see why she'd do that. Protect them, from that awful truth. But then on the other hand, you have to think, did that silence, even with good intentions, maybe add another layer of trauma?
Is that question, right? Did it help or hurt in the long run? It's like the film doesn't give you a straight answer. It just throws you right into this moral gray area.
And you're left wrestling with it.
Exactly, just like Eunice. And I think Torres just nails that internal struggle, that push and pull between protecting her family and like needing justice, needing the truth.
Yeah, it makes you think about the burdens we all carry, the secrets we keep and the choices we make, even when we think we're doing the right thing.
100%. It's a reminder that life is messy, rarely black and white, especially in situations like this. But hey, let's shift gears for a second. Let's talk about Walter Salles, the director.
Okay, yeah, he's done some amazing work. Really knows how to tell a story.
He's a pro. And, having lived through the dictatorship himself, it adds this whole other layer to the film.
Oh, totally. It's got to be different bringing a story like that to life and you've actually experienced it firsthand.
You can feel that personal connection in every frame. I mean, I read that he took forever to cast Eunice. And when he finally chose Torres, she knew she had to really bring it. And she did.
Oh yeah, she embodies Eunice's strength, her vulnerability, all of it.
And she was dedicated, man. Spent almost a year working on the film, even shot scenes that didn't make the final cut.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's that kind of passion that really makes a film special. And it obviously resonated with people in Brazil and beyond.
Speaking of that, Torres mentioned how the film really touched people across the political spectrum in Brazil. Which is amazing considering how divided things can be.
It's like it transcended all of that, and just revealed this shared human experience.
The power of film, man, to connect with people on that level.
For sure. It's a reminder that despite our differences, we all experience loss, we all crave truth, and, we all yearn for connection.
And I'm Still Here really captures all of that.
Welcome back. So we've been digging into I'm Still Here, talking about Eunice's story, Fernanda's incredible performance, Salles' vision. But there's a big piece we need to explore more, that historical context of 1970s Brazil.
Right, you can't really separate the story from that backdrop, can't you? It's a nation under a military dictatorship. Think political repression, censorship, fear just seeping into everything.
Yeah, and Torres talked about this growing up in that time. Always police around, her dad's plays getting threatened by censors. It was a reality for so many people.
It's easy to think of history as dates and names in a textbook, but these were real lives, real families dealing with this stuff every day.
And the film doesn't shy away from that, does it? It shows the brutality, how this regime tore apart families like Eunice's.
It raises so many questions too, how does a country even begin to heal from that kind of trauma?
And where do you find hope when you're surrounded by so much fear? Big stuff. But it seems like the film sparked some important conversations in Brazil.
Oh yeah, Torres said it forced people to really confront this dark period in their history. It's not just a movie, it's like a catalyst for reflection and dialogue.
And what's amazing is how the film balances that weight of history with, the very personal story of this family. It's both a political thriller and this deeply moving human drama.
Exactly, and that's probably why it connected with people on all sides of the political spectrum there. Like Torres said, it speaks to something deeper than just politics.
It's the shared human experience, right? That need for truth, that love for family, that resilience in the face of unbelievable hardship.
Absolutely. By telling the story, I'm Still Here, kind of forces us to remember this period even though it's painful. And maybe that's how we learn from it, how we prevent it from happening again.
Powerful stuff. It's like Eunice's story. She becomes this symbol, right? She never gave up, never let herself be broken, even after losing so much.
Yeah, talk about strength. She just kept fighting for answers, for justice.
And it's incredible. Her son, Marcelo, he's the one who wrote the book that inspired the film. It's like that spirit, that determination, it was passed down through the family. Talk about a legacy.
So I'm Still Here. It's more than just a film. It's a story about remembering, about reflecting on history, but also about the strength of the human spirit, that ability to keep going even when things seem impossible.
Yeah, it challenges us to really think about our own values, how we'd handle these kinds of situations. And it reminds us that even at the darkest times, there's always hope, there's always resilience, and stories, they have the power to connect us all across generations and cultures.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I gotta say, this has been a really powerful deep dive. Hope everyone listening will check out I'm Still Here. It's definitely a journey worth taking.
One that'll stick with you, for sure.
Absolutely. And on that note, that wraps up our deep dive into I'm Still Here. Hope it's given you some food for thought. Remember, the stories we share, they shape how we see the world. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.